shout out to Bobby Day. She shared this quote with me at some point during like my healing journey, and she was like, be careful of people who feel like home if home wasn't a safe place to be.
Hi, I'm Dee.
And I'm G.
And welcome to Tea with D and G. Cheers. Oh yeah, don't burn yourself.
Yeah, let's not.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's probably very hot.
It smells really good.
Dude, I'm telling you, this tea is amazing. It's apples and cinnamon.
Oh, listen.
Oh, it's not too hot?
I took like a baby sip.
Like
a
okay,
baby
I'm gonna
sip.
wait.
It is hot, but I took a baby sip.
First.
I feel like we need to spark up
We
before we get into this.
Yeah, so today we're gonna talk about parents. We're gonna talk about
our parents and just parents in general, and how your childhood and the way that you're raised completely shapes who you are as an individual as you get older. And yeah, we've both been doing a lot of inner child healing and inner child work, and just been bringing some stuff to the surface. So we just wanted to talk about that today and get a little deep, a little vulnerable. I feel like this might be one of the harder conversations that we have. I can feel it like weighing on my heart right now.
Oh, I think this is the first hard conversation that we have.
I think the previous one about insecurities was a little bit hard for me because I haven't publicly opened up or spoken about my insecurities ever. So that one was a little difficult, but this is a different kind of difficult.
I mean, your parents just shape your entire reality. I mean, the way that they treat you and the way that they love you and the way that they guide you from 0 to 7 literally builds your like deepest embedded neural pathways that are in your brain. And so I think it's just important to note that and to like understand why we feel it's important to share this information with you guys. It's just like telling you a little bit about us will help you understand like our healing journey and hopefully help you feel less alone in yours. I think even people with like the best parents and like a very typical upbringing still have trauma that like their parents didn't even realize they were doing, you know, like, and I don't think anybody's perfect, and I think really everybody's just trying their best. And a really cool way that I've like gained forgiveness in my relationship with my mom is like removing her from the role of a mother, because she's never been that. And just being able to see her as a person for like who she is, and like now I can be friends with her. It's still difficult for me because I hold my friends very accountable, and she does not like it when I say things like that to her. She'll be like, okay, I love you, and she'll hang up the phone.
Yeah, she's not ready for it.
She doesn't like the accountability. So
yeah, I feel like that approach is like really good with healing and forgiving your parents. Like I have to do the same thing in therapy, like kind of take my parents out the role of being parents and see them for just people who, you know, are just raising me the same way they were raised. Like they're only doing what they were taught and they only know so much. And especially with my parents, they're very old school, you know, like very, very old school. So their approach to things was just a lot different, and I have an old soul, but I'm still in the newer generation. So yeah, there are some things we didn't really see eye to eye about, and I just had to like see them for who they were and stop having such a, I guess, high expectation. You can have expectations for your parents if they're your parents, but at a certain age, I just feel like once you're an adult, you have to like really see them for who they are and just be like, okay, we're all adults now, so let's call it for what it is. Because when you're a kid at first, it's like, all right, like mommy and daddy, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. Now it's like, okay, gotta grow up.
At the same time, like as much as you need them and stuff like that, they also like give you a certain image. And I feel like when I got older, like I could just see through it so clearly. So to be like an adult and be like, okay, listen, like I'm grown now, like let's have these real conversations, because like I feel like that was really healing for me, because I just think like a lot of adults forget what it's like to be a kid.
Yeah.
And they forget that like kids are impressionable, and like that their actions and everything that they're doing is shaping this child's brain patterns. Like you don't, like, I feel like adults like really don't take that into consideration sometimes. It's just like your actions are very important. Like you have a child watching everything you do. They're sponges, like, you know, at that age. And it's just like, I don't know, I just think people don't go into parenting very intentionally.
I was just about to say that, intentionally.
And I think like our parents' generation even worse so. Like people are getting more intentional now, I would say, than before, but like our parents' generation, really unintentional, and a lot of them grew up very, very religious, and abortion was not even like an option for them.
Yeah.
Like, when was Roe v. Wade? Was that like during our parents' lifetime? I think it was.
History and me.
I think it's like the 60s or something. I mean, my parents were born in the 60s, but either way, like...
Yeah, back then times were just different.
Times were different.
Very, very, very different. And now we have social media and the internet in general.
Knowledge.
And just access to so much information and knowledge that we're kind of switching things up. We're really switching things up. And I think having older parents, like, you kind of get, it's kind of when like the student becomes the teacher. Like, I feel like I had that moment where I was like, okay, like, I'm in therapy and I'm healing from these things, and it's my time now to like teach you guys like how you can best be a parent to me, because the way you were a parent to me when I was younger isn't gonna work. Like, this isn't, I'm seeing what that did to me, and this way of teaching me isn't gonna work. So now I'm like reteaching them how to
have a relationship with you.
Yeah, with me, now that I'm like a young adult.
Well, I think that like in general, until you're 18, your relationship with your parents, the ball's kind of in their court. Like, you don't really, you're not playing any basketball here. Like, it's just their time, and like the ball's in their court the whole time. But once you get 18 and you're older, you're like, okay, wait, now I'm an adult. I have like things I want to say that like I felt like I couldn't ever say because I was the kid and the dynamic of it all. But it's like, when you're a grown person and you know, are interfacing with your parents, the conversations and just everything are so different. Like, and you have to really like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess just back to my main point, the main way to like help a parent dynamic is to really just see them as a person, and as like any person that would come into your life that plays a significant role, you know, and like, yeah, just trying to see them like that instead of all the expectations that you've always had for them, and just all the ways you wish they would have been. It's
what do you think you learned most from your mom? Like, what did she reflect back to you the most? Like, the biggest lesson that you think?
I would say unconditional love.
Yeah, I love that.
My mom, well, I would say love for others. She has like a very hard problem with loving herself.
Same.
But the way she loves others is so selfless.
Yeah.
And I try to help her see that, like, if she could give that to herself, she would.
Our moms are the same, apparently, because word for word, retweet.
Yeah. And my mom has an alcohol problem. Like,
I try to get I kind of want to just give a disclaimer, like, with my intention with talking about my parents, like, obviously, because this is going to be on the internet, it's going to be public, and, like, I know they might watch my stuff, so this isn't, I love my parents, like, so much. They're my best friends. Like, I tell them both everything. Like, I'm tight with both of them. But I feel like speaking my truth is important to help me heal, and just sharing my experience with my parents, because it's hard. Sometimes your parents don't want to hear the things that they done wrong, you know what I mean? Like you said, like when you start to hold your mom accountable, like when I bring up things that maybe hurt me from my childhood in the beginning, like neither of them really didn't want to hear it, or just took it in and kind of played the victim, didn't take any accountability for it. So like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm learning to like be okay with sharing my truth and like talking about it.
Well, it is okay to share your truth because it's your truth.
Yeah.
And it's your experience and it's your life. And we are never sharing anything about how we feel in judgment or in harm to others.
It's all for educational purposes.
for educational purposes, for our own healing, for our own, like, you're basically our diary. And, like, you know, like, this is an outlet for us. And even if nobody's watching, like, this is helping us heal. So it's like, we just really want to get down to the nitty gritty on some of these topics that are hard to talk about. And even, you know, like, same, like, if my mom watches this, like, I don't want her to feel like I don't love her, like, we don't have a good relationship, because I feel like I have grown to, like, love her for who she is, and that we have found, like, a good balance. But, like, for me, I needed distance. Like, I moved across the country. Like,
I feel like that's where I'm at in my life now, like, doing this with you. Like, I notice I need distance more than anything, right? Not more than anything, but it's important for me to, like, have my moment and just, like, be with myself. Because it's, like, hard to heal where you got hurt. Like, if you're trying to heal from somebody or something and you're just in their face all the time, like, it's gonna be hard to see things, like, clearly and be able to, like, detach, you know, your emotions from it.
I mean, I've been gone for almost 6 years.
I feel like space from your parents as you get older is very important.
I've been gone for almost 6 years, and, like, I still struggle, like, with all of it. Like, just having a relationship with her, not getting triggered, like, seeing her for who she is, not holding expectations, like, not... And here's something that I will say while I'm on this tangent of, like, you know, how the struggle of it all. We were just talking about this, like, it's me, because I'm so focused on how she's not healing that I'm not putting in the work to do my own healing. And so, like, I'm using that as my excuse, whereas, like, if I, like, now, like, right now, like, this is putting in the work into, like, healing that, into moving forward from that, into forgiving that, because it's like, I don't know, I just think when you choose to forgive and to move on and to love the situation for what it is, you allow them to change their perspective as well. And their perspective is never ever going to change unless you decide to make that energy shift. And so it's like the ho'oponopono of it all.
It's really like a mental shift in your head. Like, it's like a choice that, like, when you become aware of the issue or whatever the problem is, you have to make a choice to, like, change your perspective. It has to be something you, like, intentionally do, I feel like, because it's so easy to, like, respond the old way that you used to, or, like, you know, like, when you get triggered, you just want to go back to, like... That
goes back into kind of what we were talking about in the last video, where it's like, you have two systems of thinking.
Facts.
One, the easy system, the lazy route, the route that most people take is to use their neural pathways and just respond. So all those things that you already have up in there from your past experiences, past beliefs, that's what you're using to just immediately respond. You have to intentionally take the time to analyze a situation before you respond, to have the right side of your brain start working, the, like, creative analyzing. Like, it's different. You get a holistic perspective. You get to see it from the outside, and not just how it's making you feel, but how the situation is for what it is. Not, I mean, and how you feel about the situation is valid. It doesn't matter. That's how you feel, and that's your truth. But the situation has its own truth, and you have to take your feelings out of it and to see the entire truth and to see things from a bigger picture. But most people just lazy think and they just respond, and so that's the disconnect, and, like, that's, you know.
My mom always told me one thing, like, just since we're on the topic of mom, she'll always tell me, like, take 10. Like, before you respond, before you react, take 10. Like, that's her thing for me. And I be having to, like, really check myself, especially as a Pisces or just a woman in general. I'm very, very emotional, I'm very sensitive, and I can get my feelings hurt so easily because I'm always just, it's always emotional for me. Like, I just, bro, I be spazzing in a heartbeat, and I can be, like, accountable for that. But I've been changing that so much. Like, I have to literally wake up and be like, okay, things are gonna make you emotional. Like, be present while it's happening. Be the observer, like we talk about. My hair is getting drawn to this plant. Be the observer, and, like, I don't know, like just today with my mom, like going and eating with her, I was just so present and like just observing how I respond, because I could see how emotional she was feeling. You know, like I just had to really like, old me would just push her away and kind of like be mean and like impatient. Like I tend to like get really impatient with her and snap on her.
I do too.
And like that's something that I've been struggling with, because I feel guilty about it, and I don't want to put her through any more abuse and trauma that she's already been through. Ooh, I'm about to get emotional.
I'm getting emotional because I relate to this so heavily. Like,
yeah,
I snap on my mom too. And
yeah,
like,
I snap, and I feel bad about it because I just like, I know what she's been through, and I know like she's already been through just so much from men in her past, and it's like I'm the one person she trusts and can confide in and lean on. So to be the one person, I know how it feels to like love somebody so much and be that one person, and you're just getting treated like shit by them, you know, because they don't know how to handle your emotions or carry your emotions. Like I know how it feels to feel like a burden to somebody, and I don't want her to feel like that. So I'm like healing is so important for me right now, so that I can just love her with grace and patience and kindness without snapping, because you never know when it's your last moment with somebody. And like I lost Taylin, like we got in a fight and I never got to say goodbye. I never got to like, he went out and we got in a fight. That's how stuff ended with me and him. And experiencing that and that guilt, like I just don't want that, you know. Like I know my feelings are valid, but like I feel like I have to like stay in my power and like stay centered and stay calm with her, because like someone has to control this, you know what I mean? Like so one of us have to control our emotions. Somebody has to lead, you know, otherwise we're just gonna both be emotional and like destroy the relationship. Someone has to stay in their right mind and like lead, you know. I feel like that's where I'm at.
I've been working on that with my mom for a really long time. Like I hardly ever do anymore. I'll just hang up the phone or something. Like I've learned more now, but there are moments still that it happens, and like I never really recognized it for what it was until my last relationship. When I was in my last relationship, I have never ever felt triggered towards anyone else in my entire life besides my mom this way that I was triggered by this person. And like the way that I threw like temper tantrums and like acted like a child.
Same. Oh my
like,
god,
just
he would tell me all the time, he's like, you're acting
child.
like a kid, like you're acting like a child right now. And like looking back,
and it's like because you're triggering me in the way that my mom triggers me. Like you don't get it. Like, and I had to learn that and like work on that with my mom so that I don't ever carry that into a future relationship. Like that's why I've been single for the last 3 years after that relationship, because I cannot, like, I know that part of myself now, and like not that I would ever date anyone again that could piss me off that much. Like that's my own fault also for just like not taking that as a huge red flag when we were fighting from day one. Like, you know, like,
bro, like preaching to the choir. I feel like we both like are in the same boat for real. Like word for word, verbatim. Like, it's crazy because same. This last relationship was crazy for me, bro. I'm like, what? I've never felt like this ever. I've never felt that crazy over somebody in my life. And like, it's just so triggered.
I've never fought for someone.
Emotional. I've never begged for anybody in my life. I was like, what am I doing right now?
I was
what
like,
is this?
Yeah,
I was tripping, bugging, bro. Just bugging. I was bugging.
And I went through it for like 3 years.
I went through it for 3 months, and it felt like 3 years.
Yeah.
I went through like the longest 3 months of my life.
Well, you're older also now. Like when I was experiencing this, I was like from like 22 to like 25.
Get it while you're young. Get it out the way while you're freaking young, because going through it at this age,
I'm saying that's why it didn't last as long. Like I was too stupid to get out of it. Like you, I mean, if you would have stayed any longer.
Yeah, it would have. Old me would have stayed for sure.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because my previous relationships, like, they were all the same way because you repeat the same thing over and over until you break it. So they were all the same way, but like I stayed in it a lot longer. Like my first one was like on and off for like a year or two. You know who was like 2 years too, like on and off. So yeah, I got out of it. My therapist was like, you gotta like celebrate the small wins and congratulate yourself for walking away quicker than you would have. Because, oh my God, old me would have been, I would have just taken it, bro. But it felt like forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think just like the more you love yourself and the more you grow, the higher your boundaries get and the less you put up with.
Facts.
And that's why older people are just like
so quick to like me.
Yeah, and it's just like
people
once
be
you
hating me because I be so quick to like dip out now. Like I'm just so quick to be like, bye, I don't have time for it. Like I'm out. Like I don't care.
I mean, that's how you have to be. Like
so over it.
You get to a certain age and it's just like, listen, this isn't what I want to put up with forever, so I'm not even gonna put up with it for one more second.
Right.
Like if I'm not gonna like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, you know? Yeah. And I think like we just get to an age where like dating is more serious and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I think our relationships do reflect like our relationships with our parents.
100%.
And it's important to like unlearn that pattern and relearn love in the way that you actually desire it to be. Like start talking about it, start writing it down, start manifesting a love for yourself that like you actually desire, that doesn't make you feel unsafe, that doesn't make you feel insecure, that doesn't make you feel like you're fighting for it. Because like that's how I feel in my past relationships. Like I've always felt like I'm not enough.
Same.
And I've just always put up with it, even knowing that.
Same.
Like I've always known it, that they feel that way about me, but I'll just like want to just like please them until they
it's like
do
I
feel
want
that
you
way.
to love, I'm gonna love you harder in hopes that you love me back. You
Yeah.
know, like you can't.
Yeah.
I see so many like tweets and memes and reels about this, but it's like you can't love someone into loving you. Like you can't force somebody to love you by giving them more love. It's just gonna make them take you for granted even more and take advantage of you, because if they see that you're willing to do whatever for them, they see that and they're gonna take advantage of it and run with it and take everything they can until they don't need it anymore, like for real. And then that's when you get abandoned and broken up with and cheated on, because it's like you let somebody just run all your worth out of you, like take everything.
Preface: Garen shared this quote with me when we were having a pause moment, and I wish you would have gotten my reaction because it hit really deep, and I hope that you all have the same reaction.
So my mentor Bobby, she's a mental health hygienist, shout out to Bobby Day. She shared this quote with me at some point during like my healing journey, and she was like, be careful of people who feel like home if home wasn't a safe place to be. I feel like I should say it one more time.
Yeah, say it one more time. Say it one more time for the people in the back.
Let me make sure I'm getting it word for word. Like, I think it's be careful. Yeah. Okay, the quote is, be careful of people who feel like home if home wasn't a safe place to be. So if you are in a relationship, friendship, whatever that is to you, whatever situation, if it feels too comfortable, like it feels like home, if it feels like it's not new territory and something like different that you can explore, if it feels very familiar and comfortable and your home wasn't a safe place to be, that's just a red flag off rip. Like it's just a sign, like, because I
just feel like a lot of people need to hear that, because like that is, even like, this is like the third time I've heard it now, I'm not even kidding, but like I just feel like, wow, because I can just think of a list of people in my head that felt like home that ended up like ending in turmoil.
Yeah.
And my home life was very turmoil.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to think about it that way. I'm having that moment where Dom had on the podcast the other day. We love you, Dom and Leo. And Leo, yeah, we saw your podcast together. So it was super cute, and I love seeing men talk about mental health. It's a beautiful thing. Yes. So shout out to all the men out there putting in the work. We appreciate you and we see you.
Period. But yeah, that quote really, really hits home, literally. And
literally.
And yeah, if home wasn't a safe place for you, if you grew up in like a narcissistic household and you were being mentally, emotionally abused, physically abused, like if you recognize those patterns in your relationship, get out. Just run for the door.
Literally, please save yourself, because at the end of the day, like, you repeat cycles. We've talked about this a million times, and like, this is a learning lesson for you.
And it only gets harder and harder to break the cycle. I think my relationships progressively got worse and worse. Like I thought,
sorry, go
go ahead.
I just had a download.
Go ahead.
Finish what
I
you're
was just
saying.
gonna say, like, comparing, I guess, my last 2 real relationships, this very, very last one was it ended the worst, like the worst. And I didn't think it could get any worse than the previous ones. The longer you take to let go, the harder and worse it gets. I swear.
Dude, I hope that I can get back to this thought. I just had like a realization about how okay, so listen to this. I've heard a theory that you choose your parents. Like, it's just like, I don't know what religion it is.
I heard that too.
Or maybe it's just like a philosophy or something. Maybe it's a spiritual guru thing. Maybe it's woo-woo. I don't know. But I heard this before, right? And I have a hard time believing that I would choose this path for me. But I'm having a realization right now that maybe it's a cheat code, like low key. Because like, if you know this, if you know what you just said, like if you know that like, this is what home feels like, and this is what it feels like when you're with a person that feels like this, and you know you should stay away from that, that's like a life hack, because then you're more inclined to find like your real partner. And I think that like partnership in life like really curates the most like magic and creativity and everything like that. Like you can use like Kundalini energy to like create, like people use orgasms to manifest. Like being in real deep love is like powerful and magical. And if you're destined to find that in this life, I think maybe it would make sense that you would give yourself these parents so that you can recognize the people to stay away from. Because
it's like if I know what not to go after, now I know what to go after. So now you know you're not like just trying. You're like,
because you have to figure out what you don't like to know what you like.
Didn't they say that in the?
Yes, that's one of Matthew McConaughey's things. We're gonna talk about this speech that Matthew McConaughey has. We'll talk about it another time. It's really, really good.
You gotta really like. That's what we were talking about in another video. You gotta take each experience as it is, you know, and just see it for what it is, because it's just showing you what you like and what you don't like. Like you gotta.
And I think it really makes sense. Like if you loved your childhood, find somebody like your parents. Like, you know, back in the day, they always used to say.
It's that simple.
Yeah, like if you loved your childhood, if you had the best childhood, you love your mom or dad, find somebody like your mom or dad. Like you'll probably love them. Like you'll probably have a great time with them. But like for me, I don't want someone like my mom or my dad. Like at all. Like I would die in a relationship like with someone like that, like dead ass. And it's because of the lack of self-love, and I just will overpour to like compensate for them. And it's not fair, and it's not healthy, and it's very toxic, and it drains you so much that you become the worst version of yourself.
Their lack of self-love be so bad within themselves. They projected onto you so much. You stop loving yourself.
Yes.
It literally manipulates and completely changes your perspective of yourself, because they are projecting this lack of self-love,
do you know how much
insecurity.
I've thought about like the fact, like, am I what's wrong with my parents? Like, did they not want to like do this, and so like now they just like were responsible for me, and then they failed, so now they hate themselves for failing, and so now they're drinking themselves to death. And it's just like, is that the cascade? Like, but no, at the end of the day, it's really not. Like it's them, because like it doesn't matter what your outside circumstances are. You have the power to change the way that you view yourself, and the way that you love yourself, and the way that you provide for yourself. You have that power as a human, as an adult. And you have that responsibility as an adult, honestly, to take control of your life and practice self-love and go to therapy if you don't have it, if you don't even know where to start meditating. Like, you know,
there's that quote, it's like the trauma wasn't your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal it, or something like
exactly.
that. Like, it was, you gotta play the cards you're dealt, you know?
Exactly.
Like, everybody gets a hand, and you just gotta play your cards right. And you're not gonna win every game, but the practice makes perfect. And the more you play and play the game, then you're gonna be an expert.
I have something that I want to read. Oh my god, my phone's right here. Dude, it's crazy that you just said that, because I was thinking that I wanted to share this on the podcast or on the channel. And
I'm so faded.
I didn't know if I just wanted to like randomly read it or what, but I saw it when we were scrolling through my notes the other day. Okay, so I wrote this. This is just like high thoughts or like downloads, like whatever you want to call it. I feel like I get downloads.
Me too.
Like from God or from source energy or whatever you want to call it. Like
crown chakras.
I've had moments with music at music festivals.
Yeah.
Oh, I've channeled so much knowledge.
I don't want to say his name on over name dropping, but
oh, we can mention D. I don't care.
Okay, well,
yeah, we'll call him D.
Okay, D.
Yeah.
That rave, we got a lot of downloads.
Oh yeah,
like
Liquid Stranger.
The balance was
Liquid Stranger is one of those artists that you will get downloads. LS Dream, same vibe. Immersive opened for Liquid Stranger that night. Literally. Yeah, there are some artists that every single time I've seen them, I've gotten downloads. Grizz, not every time, but I have had very spiritual moments at Grizz. Greta Van Fleet.
I don't know any of these people. WPS in the chat. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, I wanted to read you guys this because we were talking about life being like a game and stuff like that. So, life is a game and the levels are linear. These levels are expanding inward and outward simultaneously. The closer you get to knowing yourself, the more you expand your awareness that you are also one with everything else. I feel like I said that really quickly. I want to start over.
That was the whole thing?
No.
Oh, I was like, damn.
But I just feel like I went too quickly through that because I'm like saying a lot. So, okay. Life is a game and the levels are linear. These levels are expanding inward and outward simultaneously. The closer you get to knowing yourself, the more you expand your awareness that you are also one with everything else. As you expand inward and outward, you are raising your vibrational frequency. The greater your vibration is, the higher frequency that you resonate at. A higher frequency allows for more intake from the universal consciousness. We are receivers of information. In the physical, we receive thoughts, feelings, sights, tastes, smells, touches, and sounds. However, in other dimensions, there is more information to be received than what we perceive here in the physical.
That was deep.
But like, I always say that everything in life happens in levels. Like, there's levels to everything.
There's levels to this shit for real. When they said that in the songs.
But I think it has to do with like frequency, because everything is frequency.
T with D and G. You feel me?
Yee.
We never finished this video.
We never
just watched
this video. So I wanted to finish telling you what I was telling you about my little philosophy on how life works. But basically, everything is frequency, right? So when you are at a low frequency, like say here's like the line, like the graph line, and you're at a low frequency and your vibe is going like this and it takes forever to get back to the center, right?
Very high highs and very low lows.
Exactly. And you're staying away from center for long amounts of time, right? But when you're at a high frequency, it goes up and down like this, like really, really, really fast. And so you're more just like cruising through life, like riding the waves, and like you're constantly back at center because you're like vibing super high. So you're constantly passing through center. And so I think kind of like leveling up in life and the levels to life have to do with the frequency that you're riding on, because the higher the frequency that you're on, the more you have access to like the universal knowledge and the universal guidance and just like everything you need to guide you through life, and it just makes life a little bit easier to manage. So,
and I feel like that takes us back to like the beginning of this video, where our intention was to talk about parents and our relationship with our parents. And I feel like the more you vibrate on a high frequency and you focus on maintaining your center, whether that be the gym, meditation, church, prayer, whatever it is that keeps you centered, the more you do that, you're able to navigate your relationships better. And because they're not going to be perfect, especially with our parents, they're only getting older. And you know, like, I just feel like it's important to have the best relationship you can with them while they're still here on earth. And I feel like the best way to do that is to just, I don't know, be the high vibrational being and kind of,
because then you're allowing them to like feed off of that energy and like
100%.
raise their vibe a bit by being the example. Like literally Michael Jackson, like you know what I mean? Like it's the man in the mirror. Like when you raise your vibe and you have that essence about you, when you walk into a room, that's contagious. When you shine your light bright, when you walk into a room, some people will be more inclined to dim theirs, but some people will be more inclined to shine theirs because you're giving them that space, because you're shining yours so bright that it's allowing them to feel safe shining theirs. And so like,
I feel like when I was on my healing journey, like with my parents and like trying to heal those mommy daddy wounds, when I was really tapped into my energy, staying sober, just holding myself accountable, and like just being that light, I could feel how much they fed off of it and how much it was like a ripple effect, really. Like you start the healing and then it just kind of ripples into everybody else and everything else in your life. Because,
and that's what I was saying earlier about like, I know it's me, like because I get so frustrated about my mom like not wanting to put in the work to like heal and stuff. But what I have to do is not be focused on what she's not doing. I need to be focused on what I'm not doing and really be putting in the work for myself, because I need to be that example for her. And even if I can't like encourage her by doing to, you know, do similarly, at least I can raise myself enough to where I can then pull her up. But like trying to pull someone up when you're not even where you're trying to go, like you're just pulling yourself back down. Like you're just evening out at this point, and it's not
canceling each other out.
You're canceling each other out. It's not getting any of you anywhere. It's like the whole, if you can't pour into somebody else's cup unless your cup is full thing. Like
the best way to heal somebody else is to heal yourself.
Exactly.
First.
My point. That's my point.
That's the best way to heal. And whether it's your parents, boyfriend, girlfriend, friendships, I have all types of relationships in general, because I've been through them all. The best way to heal them is to heal yourself.
Yep.
Like,
and that's
literally.
the tea.
That's the tea.
Thank you guys for watching. We love you. Like, subscribe, follow, share to support us. We appreciate any way you support us. If you want to follow us, all of our links will be below. And yeah.
Stay centered, friends.
Stay centered. Find your balance, find forgiveness, and spread love in any way you can.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yay.